champions, Winston Davis here with Move Up Consulting, and really sweet topic today. We're talking about the difference between a specialist and a jack of all trades. All right, so if you are in any type of residential service business where maybe you're a painter, maybe you're a plumber, maybe you do moving or landscaping or pressure washing, whatever it is, junk removal, and maybe you've gotten into the business because maybe you just grew up all your life doing odd-end jobs and you've got a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And so what you kind of become is this jack of all trades, which a lot of people think is a great idea, to be able to do a lot of different things, to be able to bring in income in a lot of different ways. But it actually holds you back because you won't be able to command as high rates. You won't become the expert in what you're doing in your industry when you're a jack of all trades. So again, specialist over jack of all trades. This is going to be a short video, but I wanted to hit home on this because I see a lot of folks out there that you're just doing way too much. And so you're spread thin and you haven't mastered. When I say mastered, I mean you are the go-to for what it is that you do. Whether you do hardscaping and that's what you do beautiful, beautiful hardscape architectural designs, right? So just find that gold vein and dig deep. Okay. It's all about being an expert because the market is saturated with tons of people. There's a lot of people that can do the work, but what's the difference maker? What puts you out in front of all the other guys? So there's going to be a huge pool of people that are the jack of all trades. This is a guy that's they take every single job. They can do anything. They're going to refinish floors one day, and then they're going to paint the next day, and then they're going to do junk removal the next day. You can get started that way, but eventually you have to make a decision on what type of business do you want to have, and what do you want to be known for? What gives you the most energy? What do you like the best? And what are you good at? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What are the pros and cons as far as that type of work? Is it more sustainable over cooler and cold months to do one type of thing? There's a lot of different factors, but you just personally have to figure out what you want, and then you go attack it. Okay, so the magic in this is when you become the go-to, the expert, the master, everyone will talk about you. But when you're average, even above average, and you're in the pool of a group of people, no one talks about you. And if no one is talking about you, no one's going to call you for business. It's a good thing when people are talking about you, whether it's good publicity or bad publicity. I'd rather have good versus bad, but publicity is better than no publicity, right? And so, how do you go about this? Well, if you're a new entrepreneur in our space where you're doing these home services, it's okay to start out as the jack of all trades. Trust me, because you just need to get cash wherever you can. You need to start getting your name out there. You need to get relationships built, and it can take you a long ways. But once you've established that and you've gotten some work under your belt, at that point, why not just dive deeper into one thing? And once you master that and you're the person, then you can scale out. But what people try to do is they try to do everything at once. And so then you become the doer of all, master of none. And that doesn't work because you can't get paid top dollar. It's the concept of, if I'm looking for a photographer for my wedding, well, a wedding photographer commands a very high fee, but just a general photographer that does a wedding will not be able to charge as much, because that wedding photographer is specialized in that type of niche. They have a higher value, or at least they have a higher perceived value. value is very interesting because there's perceived and then there's actually executed value. So perceived is what the customer is thinking on the front end, but executed is what it actually comes out. And you know what? You just need perceived value to get the job. Then you got to follow through. If you don't follow through and you're not consistent and you don't give good service, right, you're not going to get more business. But to get in the door, you just need perceived value. So put yourself out there that, hey, like start telling people I am this, or we do this. We are the number one in blank category for our area. And that's what you should have your battle cry as. So that way you can increase your rates, generate bigger margins, get higher cash flow, and that gives you more options on the table for hiring more people, having bigger sources of marketing expenditure, being able to X yourself out of some day-to-day tasks, being able to outsource tasks that are not everyday things. When there's more capital, you can trade money for your time. And ultimately, that's what everyone wants, right? I doubt that someone grew up thinking, oh, I want to be a painter for, I want to paint houses for the rest of my life. Or, oh, all I want to do with my life is run a moving company. Like, I doubt people think that way. But we end up finding ourselves in these positions in life, and we all know that we have to generate income somehow. And so we find a field, we find an industry, a niche, and then that's our craft. So it's the concept, master your craft. Every day be learning. You should spend a portion of every single day learning about your industry. And the way you do that, block your time off in your calendar. Make that a priority, because if you don't, then someone else is, and they're going to blow past you. And then you're not going to be the go-to. You're not going to be the expert. Some young gun that's super hungry, that's super willing to hustle, is going to outwork you. And so what this ties into is then your storytelling marketing. And I'm not going to jump super deep on this. I'll do storytelling marketing on another video. But when you become the expert, it ties into who you are, what your story is, what makes you different. And because maybe you're not just a landscaper, but maybe you're a landscaper and your family has a child with cerebral palsy. And so you're really passionate about helping families with children that have, disabilities or abnormal issues that not the everyday person doesn't go through, or the everyday family goes through. And so that's like part of your storytelling marketing. It helps your PR, but it's what you're passionate about as well. And so you mesh these things together. And so you take your specialist mentality and then this storytelling marketing, you put them together, and it marries the two, and you cannot beat it. You cannot beat it. And so I implore you, if you are, been in business for a couple years now or longer, throw away the jack of all trades. It may seem a little scary at first because you're like, well, I make money from some of these things. But if you just allocate that time to specializing, man, you can create an empire by specializing. Become the number one person in the world at it. And then you can charge whatever you want. So hope that helps. Go crush it. Go win the day. And I will see you guys at the top. Peace.